Welcome to our channel. This is the story of the worst day in a royal family's life. A day filled with betrayal, fear, and a truth that no one was ready to hear. Someone inside the palace caused it. But why did it happen and how did it begin? Stay till the end because the truth will shock you. The Qatar royal family was known for power, respect, and influence. They lived in a grand palace in a modern city. To the world, they looked perfect, but behind closed doors, things were not as peaceful as they seemed. King Edward Qatar was a strong and respected leader. He trusted very few people. His wife, Queen Victoria, was calm and thoughtful. They had one daughter, Princess Emily. She was kind, intelligent, and loved by everyone in the kingdom. But even strong families have hidden cracks. The king had many responsibilities and secrets. Trust was rare inside the palace, and sometimes the biggest danger does not come from enemies, it comes from people you trust the most. One morning, the palace felt different. There was a strange silence everywhere. Guards were alert. Servants spoke in whispers, and it felt like something was about to happen. But no one knew what. Princess Emily woke up with a strange feeling. Her heart felt heavy. She could not explain it. It was just a feeling that something was wrong. Sometimes the heart understands danger before the mind does. She walked toward her father's room, but the guard stopped her. This had never happened before. The king is busy, they said. Their voices were not normal. Emily felt confused and worried. Inside a private room, King Edward sat with his closest advisors. His face looked serious. One man spoke quietly. Your Majesty, there has been a breach. The room became silent instantly. A breach inside the palace meant danger. It means someone had broken trust. Someone had crossed a line. The king's eyes became sharp. Who did this? He asked in a low voice. No one answered immediately. The silence felt heavy because sometimes the truth is so shocking that even speaking it feels dangerous. Queen Victoria noticed the tension in the palace. She tried to stay calm, but something felt wrong. She had seen problems before, but never like this. This time, the fear felt personal. Emily decided to find answers on her own. She walked quietly through the palace halls. She watched everyone carefully. Something was hidden, something important. As she moved forward, she heard two guards talking softly. It came from inside. One of them said, Emily stopped. Her heart started beating faster. Inside, that meant the danger was not outside the palace, it was within. Someone close, someone trusted. That thought made everything more frightening. Emily tried to stay calm. She needed to think clearly, but fear was growing inside her. Who could do this? And why would anyone betray the royal family? Back in the meeting room, the truth was about to be revealed. When the advisor stepped forward slowly, he looked nervous, then he spoke a name. The moment the name was spoken, the king froze. It was not an enemy, it was not a stranger, it was someone very close to the family. King Edward stood up slowly. His face showed anger, but also deep pain, because betrayal hurts the most when it comes from someone you trust completely. Outside, Emily was getting closer to the truth, but she was not ready for what she was about to discover, because sometimes the truth is more painful than the mystery. This day, which started like any other, was turning into the worst day of the Carter's family's life, and what was about to happen next day would shock everyone completely. Inside the meeting room, the name echoed in the silence. It was not an enemy, it was not a stranger, it was a James Scatter, the king's younger brother. The moment his name was spoken, the air felt heavy. This was not just betrayal, this was family breaking from within. King Edward could not believe it. James was someone he trusted deeply. They had grown up together, they shared memories, struggles, and dreams. How could he do this? The question stayed in the king's mind, but the truth was already clear. The advisor explained everything. Secret messages were found, hidden meetings were discovered. James had been working quietly for months. No one noticed, no one suspected him. That made even more dangerous. But why would he do this? What could make someone betray his own family? That question was more painful than the betrayal itself, because understanding the reason would reveal something even deeper. At the same time, Princess Emily finally reached a restricted area of the palace. Guards tried to stop her, but she refused. "I need to know what is happening," she said. Her voice was strong, but her heart was full of fear. Inside the room, she saw her father standing in silence. His face looked different, not angry but broken. Emily had never seen him like this before. Something serious had happened. "Father, what is going on?" she asked softly. The king looked at her. For a moment, he could not speak. Then he said slowly, "It was your Uncle James." The words felt heavy in the room. Emily stepped back in shock. "Uncle James?" she repeated. Her mind refused to accept it. He was always kind to her, always smiling. How could he be the reason behind all this? The truth came out slowly. James felt ignored for years. He believed the king had everything: power, respect, control. Deep inside, he felt like he was living in someone else's shadow. That feeling turned into anger. At first, it was just thoughts, then small actions, then bigger risks. Slowly, he crossed the line. What started as frustration became betrayal, and now it had reached a point of no return. The plan was dangerous. If it succeeded, it could damage the entire system. The family's power, trust, and safety all were at risk. This was not just personal anymore, it was bigger than that. Emily felt tears in her eyes, not just because of fear, but because of pain. Losing trust hurts more than losing anything else. Meanwhile, guards were sent to find James, but he was already gone. He had disappeared from the palace. No one knew where he went. That made the situation even more serious. The king gave strict orders, security increased, every corner of the palace was checked, but something had already changed. The feeling of safety was gone. That night, the palace was silent. No one spoke much. Everyone was thinking about the same thing, how one person changed everything. One of decision destroyed years of trust. Emily sat alone in her room. She looked at old memories, photos with her uncle, happy moments. Now all of them felt different. Sometimes the past hurts more when you know the truth. King Edward stood near the window, looking outside. He was not just thinking like a king, but like a brother. The pain inside him was deep. Power can protect you from betrayal. Days passed, but the impact remained. The family changed. Trust became rare. Everyone became more careful because once trust breaks, it never returns the same. This was the worst day of their lives, not because of loss of power, but because of loss of trust, and that is the hardest thing to rebuild. In the end, this story shows that the biggest danger does not always come from outside. Sometimes it comes from within. And through this powerful story, you can also learn English while understanding a deep lesson about trust, emotion, and human nature.